How's it going, ScrubGamers? Welcome back to another video here at ScrubGames, and today we're on our next episode of the Road to Finals series, being episode 7, Remembering That Blue Still Exists. And this episode is dedicated to blue because, remember, with the top two decks at the moment, they're red, and one of the best colours that helps deal with red decks is blue. So with the top two decks being SS4, Gogeta and Sin being about, one of the best guys to help combat some of their big plays is in blue. So blue is probably could be potentially a big color and big color that's going to be played more widely to help combat those. So if you're going against if you're playing decks to help combat the top two decks, you can also want to do some stuff to help combat blue decks. So in this episode, we're going to go over some of the best blue decks we're going to expect and how they help what they're going to do and how they help counter them and deal with them. Now, before we get into the video, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out the channel greatly. Even by clicking the notification bell, if you do subscribe, you get alerts to when my videos do drop. And we've hit 500 subscribers now, so that's fantastic. Thank you to all my subscribers for helping me get to that point. We're halfway to my main goal, and thanks to that, I will be doing a giveaway and also detailing in that giveaway what I'll be doing when I get to my goal of 1,000 subs. So once again, thank you for that, and enjoy the giveaway. And now let's go into the video as well. So blue. I can hate the color. Blue is more how people play it than it. 'Cause people just see, as I said in some other discussion videos, that when people see blue, they just think stall or try to hold back. Even some people that play blue, they didn't play to win, they've just played not to lose, and that's a bad strategy. And blue is one of those colors that can be very defensive. It's more played defensively. Like, it's been recently getting more aggressive decks in blue, which I've been liking. I've been liking those aggressive decks, but with the hit to bean, it's been less. Not as strong as it could have been. Like, I used to love the Crimson Goku deck, and even the new Gohan deck we're getting to be aggressive. But blue does have some good decks still that you can expect, and there are 6 of them that I feel that would be the main ones you probably see. So the first 3 being the main ramp decks, being the Beerus Reboot, the Reboot Goku Ramp, and the SS4 Vegeta. These are mainly the ramp decks, and the true ramp because they've all got ways to ramp, and they all don't really lose anything because the Beerus is using its Z deck, like a Z deck, or cantrips to help ramp, plus also not game cards because it's got like a Whis that when it plays, it draws a card back and then uses off the ramp, and a Z battle card that we got in the box to ramp itself. And out of the 3, it's the better ramp deck because it's got an alternate way condition, which we're going over in a bit. Then you have the Reboot Ramp Goku that has another way to ramp. It doesn't get true ramp because it's more adding to the energy total than it is to actually ramping to actually use. But still wants to just get a number of cards of energy up quickly to get the full effects of its to awaken quick as possible and get the full benefit of its awakened side. And then you got the SS4 Vegeta, which is going to keep pounding with the lead, not worrying about basically what you're doing, just keep pounding with the lead to help ramp in a more easier fashion without any outside help, but it's a bit more predictable and a little bit easier to stop. And then we have the other 3 decks being SS Freaks on Goku, the one that's more hyped up from people because it's the blue deck that's won the most tournaments so far since Zenkai series because it did well in 2 US events. And once again, just like SS4 Vegeta, doesn't need any outside help to ramp, but it does have more of a cost to ramp. Instead of having to connect with leader swing, it has to lose a card from hand and and basically ramp from life. So it's losing advantage to ramp, but then once it's awakened, it has a better benefit. Then you have the other 2 decks, which aren't really ramp decks. Well, mainly Gamma isn't a ramp deck, but Android 16 does have the ability to do some ramping. And these are decks that have multiple different areas as an extension to their hands. Like, before Zenkai series, every deck had their hand as their options to play. These 2 decks, then when Zenkai series, every deck now has their hand plus the extension of hand being their Z deck to use. But these decks have an extra 3rd area where not only do they have the hand to use for playing stuff, they also have their Z deck and they have their energy because they play stuff from energy. But we'll go over that in a sec. So these are the 6 leaders I think are the best blue decks and ones you most likely play finals, and let's go over a little of them bit by bit. So Beerus I think is the better ramp deck because it has 2 ways to win. Unlike most decks which just they only have 1 way to win, which is pushing your opponent's life down to 0. as a way to win, this has an alternative way condition, like, which is nice to have on some things. Like that's why mill is like so liked by some people, because it's an alternative way to awaken, where rather than relying on one way, you have two strategies to win. And Beerus has that extra thing in that its awakened side has an activate main which is passed on from the original leader, which by paying 16 energy you win the game. So like Exodia, you just have to meet this condition and you instantly win. And 16 energy seems like a lot to get to, but then with it being a blue deck, being a holdout, and being since the leader released better ways to ramp faster and better, it's easier to pull it off. And I feel this is why it's the better one, because not only can it also ramp, having better options to ramp and ramp quickly, it also has the better way to win and not having to worry about pushing damage, but using the alternative win condition. And it got a benefit from the the anniversary box with the Z Whis from on high Z battle card in a never way to ramp that doesn't reduce your hand, which is great. And it's exclusive to this lead because it needs you to have a mono blue Beerus card as your leader card. And all it does is acquire two energy, one card from using energy as well, which is easy enough to do to defend yourself, combo a card, and then you can play it from your Z deck, and that Z energy is going to be instantly the card you're going to play, because you're going to send the one card from your Z energy to drop to play this out by paying 2 energy, and then use the auto to ramp a mono blue card from your to your energy from your drop, which would normally be the card that was used for the Z energy. This allows you to give you also a nice little kind of little loop with the looping 2 Xeno super combos as well, to keep looping those charge Z energy and ramp a little bit easier, whilst defending yourself a little bit better, which is quite nice. Then you have the reboot Goku ramp deck, which has the added benefit of once again, as I said, not true ramp, but it doesn't worry about too much with the ramp. It's more to get a certain amount of energy, cards Z energy, to get the full benefit of your leader, and that's going to 5 and 7. 5 allowing you to get double strike on your lead when you trigger the auto, so having that also not just the double strike, but also the more energy you have and Z energy you have, the stronger this card gets every time it swings on its awakened side. And by having 5 or more, you get double strike, and having 7 or more, you get crit. So if you want to get the full effect, you want to get 7 cards of energy, which, even though the ramp is not like true ramp, because you can't really use the energy if you're using the Beerus, you still get the cards of energy, so you can get the full effect of your lead. And this card has easy ways to ramp without worrying about its energy through playing a full playset of the Whis and Beerus card you see on board. The Whis being a cantrip that plays and ramps the Beerus from the deck, and the Beerus, by just paying 1 blue, you ramp it from your hand and then draw a card. Now it was a Rata, so you can't get the stupid draw off, just keep ramp once with 1, then use the second in hand to keep drawing depending on how much energy you want to play. But it's still strong, because you either get the ramp from the deck or from hand, depending if you draw the Beerus, or we split straight from the deck. And you can always replace it by using the Xeno Super combo to turn it from being a dead card in your energy that just adds to your energy total, to actually being a relevant card that actually is energy. So you can cheat the card out to replace it with something else that can actually restand, because it's got a permanent where it can't restand while in energy, no matter what. So that's a nice little benefit of that one. Then you've got the Vegeta, which also, like Beerus, got a benefit in the anniversary box by having this Bulma card, which is a nice little cantrip to use turn 1 if you're going first, because normally if you're going first you're going to want to make use of that energy to actually do something, and this Bulma fulfills that. That's being just a one drop cantrip. And also an extra benefit being a Never card you can use to help push through damage with a lead swing. Because as I said, this leader ramps by swinging with its leader, because if it does damage with a leader swing, it ramps a card from top of your deck, as long as it's mono blue. So you normally go swing with your lead, swing your opponent, and try to force through damage to help ramp, to get that ramp. And normally doing that, you're going to want to combo or use cards to boost the power of your lead. And Bulma's a great one in doing that, because not only is it cantrip, but it's got a second auto, which by paying 1 blue, you get to make itself a 10k combo and untap the energy you paid for it. So essentially it'd be a free 10k combo to help have more options to push. Because the more it does damage to your lead, the more it can ramp. And it doesn't have alternative awakening conditions, so you can keep doing it, but when you do awaken, you then have the benefit of having the second auto to, if your opponent tries to just negate the attack, you then restand it to keep trying again, so you can potentially get 2 swings depending on what kind of counters they use. And it's not restricted to counter attack, it's also any counter skill, so counter attack, counter play, or counter. But this is a nice little benefit of having the easiest way to ramp, but just using the lead and not having to incur certain cards in the deck to help ramp outside of that. And then we have the SS3, which is once again just like Vegeta, an easy way to ramp because it's all built to the leader. It also has area restriction, meaning you can only have 6 energy, but that's fine because it means that when you get 6 energy, you no longer have to use the card you draw or use a card from hand that's charged. you now have 6 energy, and you get more than 6 energy because of its zero effect. So once you get to 6 energy, you don't have to worry about what the charge anymore. You have that all taken care of by only having 6, and it means you can play big threats and stuff and then have energy back, because when you're awakened, its second auto allows you at the end of the turn to untap any 3 of your mono blue energy. So essentially you get 9 energy a turn once you're awakened. You get 6 you can use in your turn and 3 at the end of your turn to use defensively. And not only that, is now when you awaken, swinging the draw card and pushing through damage by being a 20k swing, so you're either forcing out a super combo, 2 5ks, or negate, so either way you're forcing something out, kind of push through. And you can play great bombs like this SS Son Goku and Overworld Blitz, play it out for 6 for its full cost of reactivate main, and then restand 3 energy in a turn to help defend yourself. So a good way to be offensive while having enough energy to defend yourself. And there's a reason why the leader this card was rebooted from was banned. Then we have Gamma, which is one of the decks out of these 6 that doesn't really ramp. It just replaces off of energy, because when you place it from energy, when you awaken side anyway, you get to replace that card in your energy with the top card of your deck. So essentially, that's why you get the extension of your energy being an extension of your hand with this deck, because you're playing stuff in your energy, like most of the things playing from your energy, and then replacing with the top card of your deck. So you're not losing energy, but still using stuff from it. And it's got an easy awaken condition by just when you got to choose either 4 or less life, or have a blue unison with a specified cost of 2 in play, which the arch that comes with, a really good one. To then untap 1, draw 1, and get up 6 life. And then you're getting the kind of same thing as this is free. We're getting free energy untapped, but you're not untapping it, so you're not getting hit by those like untap hate cards, which is nice. But you're basically adding it back to your hand and putting 3 back down, adding 3 blue androids back to your hand and putting down 3 blue androids back into your energy, and also drawing a card. So your draw when you awaken is at the end of your turn, and you get your energy back in a better way, but then you have a restriction of not being able to use any skills on non-android battle cards that are 7 or less. So it doesn't restrict your super combo, but it means if you're taking anything else not on the android that's 7 or less, you can't really use that effect in deck. But you do have some access to really nice archetypical stuff like the Android 14 negate and Android 18 counterplay as well. And the last one we have is Android 16. This is a nice one where on the unawakened side, it's got a nice little draw being swing, the sack off any blue or green android, draw 2 cards, so a nice bit of draw power on the front. And an easy way to awaken where either 4 less life, or when there are a total of 5 or more energy between you and your opponent, you get the flip over, and it's normally a draw 1, untap 1, and take your life down to 5. And 5 is a perfect number because that gives you access to your token negates as soon as you flip over, to then put yourself down to 4 if you want a draw super combo. That's normally ones that require you 4, or play one of your other super combos. But it normally gets you 5 is a nice low total because of the token negates, and also this is more of a multicolored deck, and a good multicolored deck, because it has a permanent on both sides, which negate the energy source skill on all Android 16 cards with a rival, which is what most of the stuff you're going to charge in, because once again, this card like Gamma plays stuff from its energy, and those cards have been the Android 16 cards with a rival. So having those in your energy so you can rival them out from your energy is great, because when you awaken, you get a second permanent allows you to pay the skill costs for and activate a rival skill battle card. You get paid a skill cost for and activate the rival blue-green skills of cards in your energy area. So it means you charge these Android 16 cards with a rival and negate their energy source. Then you get to play them out for your energy and play the skills from the ones in your energy. So you get a nice little benefit of it having, like I said, like with Gamma, the energy being an extension in your hand. And you do get replace the card you played, but you only get to do it once per turn. So when you play a blue android card from your energy, you get to replace it in your energy with the top card of your deck, but in rest mode. Just like the same with the Gamma. And also this card has a little benefit of just once per turn, to your player's turn, being able to use a free combo of a multicolor android card that's blue-green from your drop. So you'll be sacking on them off with the auto on the front side to get them in the drop set up, or them being discarded or whatever, and then using the free combo and then potentially charge if you want to for Z energy. So this deck can set up maybe some nice Z energy, and also a free combo your player's turn to get that free arrival your player's turn, and some nice pressure as well with defense. And also talking about super combos as well and combos, remember that blue has some like diverse super combos. Like every deck, every color has normally like 1 or 2 super combos to play. Like red is normally playing the Raditz super combo or the Beer super combo as the main super combos it plays, depending if you want to play red, yellow, or the best red super combo. Green is normally going to be playing things like Paragus as the best super combo because it's got the best skill. Then you got things like yellow, and then we play like if they're not playing they're playing secret rares, super combo, that's a separate kind of thing. But they're playing normally the Krillin super combo is the best super combo, or maybe even Zamasu, depending if you want what kind of skill you want. And in blue, they got before they got like a ton of different super combos they can play. Like some good ones could be if you want hand control, you got the Android 18 Bionic Blitz just to be able to use that. Not worry about your life total to be able to use at any point, and just reduce the amount of resources your opponent has, or being a free super combo. And you got the Vegeta if you can get your life down to 4 or less, being a good way to help mitigate your hand if you've got some cards you didn't want in it back in your deck. The draw 2 cards, something that every colour has, and most colours do use their version of this. And then you have things like the Zenith Super Combo, which allows you to like fix your energy. If you charge anything early that you didn't want to charge, you can always grab it back. Or if some of these ramp decks then ramp from ramp cards that you can't control what was ramped. So say like from one of them you ramp your secret rare, and that's now in your energy. You might not have access to it, but using the Zenith Super Combo, you can defend yourself, the combo with it to defend yourself, and grab the card, like say a card from your energy back to your hand, or replace something else you don't want and you want in your energy. So you have that little benefit. So it has multiple different super combos you can play in any blue deck. So you might have to spend some of your time figuring out what super combos are playing, and you can even tech out different ratios of each of these as well. And not only that as well, they also have some great extra cards. So some blue they have a great use of super extra cards as well to help defend themselves, right? Get beneficial effects. So they might struggle with SS4 Gogeta and having combo power to help out combo the 8-drop swing, but they still have very strong cards, even one of the best cards to help counter that card. So you have Senzu Bean to help make your leader stronger, which is now been restricted to being a defensive card. It just needs it can only be played during your opponent's turn. So it gives your leader a 5k boost to help defend a little bit easier and give you more energy. It's a very nice card, been good even now, even with the errata since the beginning of the game. You even got Dirty Burst, which is the only real trap for big 8-drop the flight cards like Omega in Sin and Gogeta in SS4, like being the best thing to counterplay the SS4 Gogeta 8-drop, because it just puts a condition on your opponent to make it so they can't attack with 7 or more for the turn, and is the main reason going to be keeping 2 energy open. Now they do fall into having this card having Brody Crown out, but that's just the standard with red at the moment, but it's still a good card to help make it so the uninteractable 8-drop can't really do anything, and is forced to be played, and then you respond rather than things before making it so they can play around it. Then you got extra excellent cards like Realm of the Gods. Like every card's got Realm of the Gods, but the blue one is one of the best ones because not the other ones is not only drawing a card defensively, but it's also a removal as well, which is something blue might have trouble with, some blue decks do, and it's either use removal in your turn or a defensive card if they need it, while also bottom decking some little things. It's a really good card, very versatile that most decks are playing, like almost a staple. And then they also have some good floodgates as well. So they do have some that are archer specific, some that are quite costly, and some that are outside the range of what you can counter, like Android 14 being like a specific one for Gamma. The 6-drop Miraculous Transformation being a one to help defend your leader a lot easier, to restrict it, make it so they have to attack this if they want to attack your leader with battle cards coming out for quite cheap. And then Vegeta being a big floodgate, puts a condition on your opponent and make it unlikely they don't want to attack again, while also being a blocker and hard to counterplay because it's outside the conditions for most counterplays in any color, being a 4-drop 20k. So most things either go for 3 or less or 50k or less, depend. So Vegeta is one of those harder ones to remove. You normally need a counter for it, or a specific strong counterplay, which is normally quite costly. So it has all these the color has all these really good cards to help defend themselves and just outgrind you for the advantage. And one thing as well that probably one of the best cards against some of the blue decks is what yellow has. So yellow is probably like the best way to counter blue, because it just keeps restricting what they can do, putting taxes on the blue decks to restrict how much they can draw, how they can draw, what they can do, and they get stopping their effects and resting all this stuff down. And one of the best cards it has is Release from Evil, which is a very nice card you can free play if you have any user strategy in yellow, and really hurts some decks. Like if you're playing Gamma or an SS3 and you swing with them, like you say for some reason you swing with the Gamma leader or you swing with the SS3 lead to get that draw. If you get hit by Release from Evil, you then lose your second auto to basically get your energy back. So in Gamma you lose the draw and they get your the grab back energy, then replace it back down. Which is detrimental because you're losing not only using the draw, which you don't draw as much in Gamma, but you also lose to getting your energy back. So if you tapped out your energy and then run into Release from Evil, you're going to get screwed. And SS3, you're going to swing into that to get the draw, get hit by Release from Evil, and then not be able to untap your free energy at the end of the turn. I mean, if you played a card before Swing with the Lead, you then lose that benefit of having an easy way to defend yourself. So that's one thing to think about. If you're hating blue, play yellow. And also one thing with Gamma is Gamma's one of the newer ones that, even though it's only been out for 2 sets, being set 17 and set 18, it's got a benefit in both. Like it came with, in the set it came in a searcher, a discardable searcher that goes with its unison with its strategy, being a discard to get a search, to either search for unison or an archetype card, and then be a card in your drop ready for your unison to get that benefit and get that charge that Z energy. And then in the latest set, in set 18, it got the Android 18, which is the same thing, and also was an extra way to arrival and play out from your energy and stuff like that. So it was a really good card. So it's got multiple more searches. You can play 4 copies of each to get like more consistency to find what it needs to find as well. So it got added consistency. Not only that, but it has some annoying cards to help defend itself to kind of stall it out. Like probably if you're like a just solely player just wants to not win the game but not lose the game, this probably is the best deck for you. Because not only do you have the Android 14 negate as a really annoying negate that can give you like a topo. So if your opponent wants to attack any model for the turn, no matter what they're attacking with, they have to lose 2 cards from hand to the bottom of the deck each time they want to attack. You have that negate, and since you untap it, like adding 3 back to place 3 back down in active mode to have the energy open for it, it's going to be hard to deal with it. Since red has lost the Resolve Renewed, it has a harder time dealing with that and have to find other ways to help stop that, either by playing Brooded Crown or finding other counters to stop it. And if you're hoping to use the Brooded Crown route, then they're going to always stop that with the Android 18, let the battle begin, or even if you want to play something 4 drop or less, they have Android 18 be let the battle begin. Because all you need is an Android lead and the pay 1, because the permanent reduces it to 1 cost. As long as you have an Android leader, specify cost to a unison, and it's your opponent's turn, you get to have this for an easy way to disrupt your turn, play a block a card, and bottom deck the card so it doesn't get a drop. This goes to the bottom of your deck, so you're getting hard to find it, while also either having something to defend yourself with or attack next turn. So you've got annoying defense you have to watch out, and this is live from turn 2, because they're normally going to turn 2, swing with the lead to get the draw, play a unison, then awaken, and then have that live, because one of their awaken is going to untap an energy as well. And not only that, you have to also watch out for Gamma players if they play this SSB Vegito, Godly Spirit, because with the second auto, its cost is to add 3 blue Android cards from their energy to their hand as the cost, and then end of the turn, they draw a card, add up to 3 blue Android cards from their hand to their energy, and until the end of your opponent's next turn, until the end of your next turn, they can activate skills on non-Android battle cards with energy cost of 7 or less in all areas. This basically means that the blocker skill on Vegito, if they drop out, cannot be used because it's a auto-timing keyword skill that falls in the conditions of the second auto on Gamma that can't be used. So they can still get the second auto on the SS Vegito as long as they time it right, as long as they go the Vegito first, then the Gamma lead. To restand after attacking with a 30k triple striker, it's got barrier and deflect, and then make you bottom deck 1 from your board and 1 from your hand. But they're not going to be able to block with it because it's not an Android battle card that's 7 or less. So watch out for that. If anybody does that, call them out. And then they've got some secret rares. So one of the best ones and most annoying ones in the game that surprisingly some people, or like most of the player base, thought was bad when it's first released back in set 11, is Baby Hatch. Now if you thought it was bad, you got to rethink it yourself, because if you think this is bad, then what did you think about Super Shenron back when it was released? Because this is like a powerful secret rare that any blue deck has, that you can just, once you get 3 more energy, it's live to negate the discard another card, negate the attack and play yourself, play a 40k beat stick on your board, and also make it so your opponent can't attack for the rest of the turn. So on the first swing, you know what I mean, use this, negate that attack by discarding another card in hand to use it for free, play a 40k beat stick, and make it so you can't attack for the rest of the turn, to basically make it so they're going to end their turn and just carry on and pass back to you. It's essentially a time skip of their turn. And that's not going to be fun, especially if they're putting a lot of pressure on you and use this to make it so you've got less of a way to deal with what they've put out. You're going to have a hard time, so you're going to want counters in your deck. So every colour's got good counters, apart from black and really green. But yellow's got the caller counter, which everybody knows. Red, as long as you tech the red-yellow stuff, you've got the access to Almighty Resistance, so you can stop it. You just need to add some yellow cards and some multicolors. You also got a good way to make sure you got yellow in your energy by using the God Checkland from Draft Box 5. And green has the worst one, probably because of the fact it has to take up your secret rare slot, and only works if it's a non-leader spec swing and it costs 3. So it costs the same as Caller, but it takes up your secret rare slot to use it and has to be on a non-leader swing. And then blue also does have access to something in the form of the Baby Golden Avenger, which is a 5-drop. So 5-drop is a lot more costly than most of these because the secret rarity is going to be reduced down to 3 with its permanent. But then blue ramping up enough and getting to the later game means it's got more access to it and can even be cheated out if you're playing the Baby Unison as well. So there's that. Then you have the Ever secret rare can potentially be played in blue. These are the only real 2 blue secret rares that can be played until we get the new Gohan in the next set. That's a really good one and probably one of my favourite ones out of the blue secret rares. And this one has a horrible little combo that can be played for it, and with why people are teching some cards specifically for the secret rare, because it's got this annoying little combo, which as soon as you get the 6 energy, the SS4 Vegeta is live to come down and ramp you 4 more energy to put yourself to 10, or even just ramp up to at least 2 so you can play the 8-drop. And then what you're going to be doing then is at least ramping, you basically just get the 6, play the Vegeta, ramp the 4 cards you reveal, the 4 mono blue cards you're going to reveal, because they're most likely to be mono blue for this, and then play out the Kaioken so you can untap all your rested energy, and then play the Android 17, turning the tide, to then make it so you and your opponent both bottom deck, shuffle back into your decks your entire hands, both of you, so neither you and your opponent have your hand, and then play the last 3 energy and use 2 energy to play the Cell Z battle card to absorb any 5 or less battle cards on their board to kind of clear the hand, clear the board, and set up a wide board of many swings. Because then you have the Cell, which as long as it's on 1 card has 2 25k crit swings. The Android 17 has got a 30k crit swing. The Vegeta, that's a 30k. The secret rare, that is a 40k triple attacker, so 3 40k swings. And depending what leader you're playing with this war, depending what ramp leader you're playing with, you then have access to swing with the lead as well. And if you're playing the Reboot Goku ramp, your leader is going to be at least a 25k crit double striker as well. So you're going to have multiple crit swings and multiple swings when they've got no cards in hand, and if they've been taking damage or putting themselves down in low life, then you have less life to defend themselves to help not lose the game, and out from that. And because of that little combo, most people are playing the cunning cards, which every colour has, to make it so if your opponent so when you play it, you draw cards as a cantrip, and a put addition where if either player wants to untap energy during their turn with a battle card or extra card, they need to walk 5 cards from the drop to do it. So essentially, it means if your opponent wants to play this card can do a combo, they have to warp most of the deck if it's in the drop, just untap and puts an end to that strategy. Because that strategy is so detrimental and annoying that you're not going to deal with it. So protect these cunning cards, at least 1 or 2, to help defend against this combo, if you come against it. Not only that, but blue also has annoying big threats that come down. Like blue has a lot of big annoying threats, as we saw with the Turn the Tide, the Vegeta, and even a new one in this one of the Son Goku Neverwall Blitz, being a 30k triple striker that has barrier deflect, so can't stop from coming out and hard to interact with, and then a blocker and restands at the end of your turn to defend yourself with. So they bring out a 30k triple strike for potentially 4 with the outfit main, to potentially kill your board, replace yourself in hand by drawing a card with the first auto, and then restanding at the end of the turn with a second auto, and also giving you an energy as well. So they have, and it's not unique as well, so you can drop multiple of them, but then only 1 will restand in a turn. But still, they can put these uninteractable big threats down that put a lot of pressure on, and then defend themselves quite easily. So you're going to want to have some barrier removal for some of these things, and red is quite lacking in it, not as much as blue. Blue barely has any barrier removal at all to deal with things, nor has to rely on defending and just running over things. But red has some things like the Kaioken that help reduce the power down, so it won't be the hit. It can kill anything that's 25 or less, but if it's higher than that, it can reduce the power on it. So if it does block or defend it, or you can attack into them, you can reduce the combo, reduce the amount of power you need to kill it. But outside that, it's not the greatest. But you do have the Vegeta secret rare though, that clears anything for barrier and a unison as well while doing a damage, so it's not too bad. But then that's your secret rare slot. Green has access to the Goku Fated Arrival to just come down for 2 energy once your opponent hits, and since blue is normally going to get the free energy, you can have this live very easily to come down, pop something for barrier, and then put double strike pressure on for 30k. And then yellow has just barrier ignorance in final flash, just ignore anything that's got barrier for its skills as well. And then we come to D Magic. One of the sparking negates is probably sort of the test time best. Like some of them come back a bit more. Like After Image got a bit more use due to U7 Goku, because it can keep a high life total in mid itself. And then you got like Shocking Death Balls come back into it for any green deck to deal with Sin to help negate certain swings and KO the small guys. And then Time Magic is kind of like a tech card for some yellow decks to help deal with any multiple attack, like cards that can attack multiple times. And then Power Burst really is being replaced by token negate in most decks, unless it wants to get back a 1-drop. But D Magic is the one that's turned its test time and not just always been live and viable for any blue deck. And because of that, there are some hate for it. So some of the in Draft Box 6, Draft Box 6, you got some hate for it, and these 1-drop cantrips that have barrier and make it so if your opponent wants to negate untap energy with a counter skill, be it counter attack, counter play, counter, you get to choose one of their cards in energy and one of their life and place it in the drop. So you get the punish deck, and that's why the best thing to do, because D Magic is going to be used in most blue decks, and these are nice ways to help make it so they can still use it, just they're not going to get any more energy out of it if you get these on board. And if you've got multiple on board, it's going to heavily make it so they're going to not be able to untap energy if they tap out to defend themselves easier. And then you got to remember that blue has some really strong cards. So like they got these 3 cards essentially when it came to the like text and things you have to watch out for. So in the anniversary box, every blue deck got access to SS Rose Goku Black, Mortals Begone. This is a horrible card to deal with, and you have to think about when you go against any blue deck, because if you're going all in on a battle card that's 4 cost or less that doesn't have barrier, this card can come in and just end the attack and establish a 20k double strike. Because its effect play is just activate battle for 1 blue. It's limit 1, but it doesn't matter if they're playing it 1 as long as they can only play 1. As long as they use it correctly, they basically punish you for being greedy. They can play this out as long as they have, for 1 blue, activate battle as long as they have 3 or more Z energy, and their lead is either a mono blue, so Master of Goku Black, so any blue lead or one of those specific characters. Then when they do that, they get the auto where when it's played, they draw a card, replace it in the hand, and then choose one of your battle cards with an energy cost of 4 or less and bottom deck it. So if you're going all in on a 4 cost or less battle card, they bring this out for 1 in the battle. Bottom deck attack, you're going the card you're swinging with to end the battle, replace itself in hand by drawing a card, and now have established a 20k double strike for their turn to push you with, while also stopping your attack with just 1 energy. And that's why like blue can do a lot with just a limited amount of energy. So this is one thing you have to watch out for now when you're going in, what you're going in with. And they have Dirty Burst being the best trap for the Gogeta deck, but if they played 8-drop and they got 2 energy open, Dirty Burst can basically punish them. They say you've played this card, but then you can't do anything with it, which is the worst part, because when it comes down and actually starts swinging, you can't interact with it at all. But Dirty Burst is a way to allow them to bring it in and then basically place a condition on the player to say you can't use it. And you've got things like Realm of the Gods. So if you're leaving, not sequencing properly, and swinging things and leaving up things that are 2 costs or less on board that you want to swing with after swing with something, Realm of the Gods is going to punish you by outcoming 1 swing and bottom deck something else that you've got on board as well. So if you're swinging with a lead and you've got a 2-drop or less, then you use this, draw a card, outcombo the attack, and then bottom deck your 2 costs or less that you're going to swing with after by punishing you for sequencing wrong. So yeah, watch out for that. And also they have the some really strong Z battle cards. So Z cards, if you the colours, it's some cards got Bless, some cards got like Screwed. Like red got the best ones, blue got some really good ones, yellow got some really nice ones as well, some really nice ones. And then you got green that got more archetype blocked ones and not great ones. Like they got 1 good one at the moment, but they'll get a few never a good one in the next set. And then black got screwed over by just having 1, well 2, 1, but then 1 they've got 2, but 1 is actually for black decks, and is just really costly for what it is. And 1 is a black one, but is used for any deck that wants to use it, that wants to get control its life total. That's it. But they get really good ones. So you got the Cell, which helps if you go wide on your board with 5 costs or less, it can help absorb them and push through some critical swings. And it requires 3 energy, which is not much of a cost, and only 2 Z energy. So just 2 cards to defend himself and free energy, and then boom, can absorb your board and push through some critical swings as well for cheap. And then you got Vegeta, which is one of those uninteractable, well, hard to interactable cards. Not uninteractable, hard to interact with, because it's got 2 skills that should be together, Deflect and Barrier, so it can't be stopped from coming down, it's hard to interact with. Triple Strike as well, the push through, 30k Triple Strike is a lot to push through, so you're going to want to avoid the damage by either using a lot of cards from hand or negate. And it's going to be a defend on the turn, because it's also going to trigger to restand it, plus making you bottom deck a card from board in hand, and then be able to block with it next turn. And every turn after, they can keep defending it as long as they got the Z energy to help re-establish more and just have this horrible board the later the game goes on, which is what they're going for. So they got some really good ones in those two, so you have to watch out for. No, doesn't matter what the cards in hand. Think about if they got the energy and the energy for it. Expect some of these cards if the conditions for your opponent to drop them are favourable. So watch out about stabbing a wide board when they're free and more energy for a sell, and watch out for getting to the later game when they can potentially drop more and more of these Vegetos. Then we're going to go into the 3 different cards. Each color should be siding or coincide to help deal with blue and red. And we're going to go color order, and red is the easiest one to go for. So you got Brody Crown, which most red decks are going to be maining anyway to help deal with it. Can't be played by skills anymore because it's permanent Rata. The Rata, they give it a permanent where it can't be played from anywhere by skills. But still playing 1 where your opponent's got 2 energy open at the minimum to help give that hand knowledge is great. All My Resistance is a nice little tech if you want to tech a little bit of a red-yellow package to have access to a great counter to help push through swings. And Omen Awakening is probably one of the a nice little counterplay that actually hits even Ready to Rumble, which is a few cards that hits Ready to Rumble. That's a counterplay in a deck. And since they got the amazing Unison in SS4 of Gogeta Unison, you can reduce the cost on this using the permanent by having a card in play to 1 cost rather than 2 cost. You got a benefit. Then blue is quite limited. It doesn't have many good options for barrier removal, but a good one is Gotenks because it's got a -3 that bottom decks up to 2 battle cards, ignoring barrier. And if you don't want to use that, you can still use it as a dual attacking 20k or a 20k swing and then block, or even use it as draw 2 cards. It's probably one of the few barrier removal options blue has until we get the next set and get the Z battle card Beerus. Then you have Great Saiyaman, which is a nice little one to help deal with some swings. Doesn't really deal with SS4 Gogeta, but it's a nice little one. Has Barrier Deflect, uninteractable, like really hard to interact with, and then Blocker Revenge, so you can defend swings and then kill things as well. And if you do kill things, Revenge triggers the auto, where when it KOs opponent's battle card, you switch to active mode, untap and blue energy. So this is a nice, really nice card for some decks that don't have great barrier removal like most red decks, because they're normally going to be siding in the Kaioken Gokus. And as well as that, any decks that have good barrier removal, like in say blue and mirror as well, is a really nice card to deal with some of the big threats. And then you have Baby Golden Avenger being a good counter to help deal with some of their negates, because blue is going to be stopping a lot of attacks. Then you got green. Green has some good ones. He has some nice good unisons, and SS Barlock Paternal Unison is nice. Helps to like heavily restrict how much Z energy they can charge. Either they're comboing more than they need to help get that Z energy in there or defend the attacks. While you also have some hand control in the +1 as well, but that can offer you 1 drops to either use their effect or you don't care about anymore. But more like controlling their combo power, so like defensively or offensively, to restrict their Z energy and push through damage is really nice on the Bardock as well. Then you have barrier removal to deal with their barrier threats in Fated Rival if you're not meaning you're normally siding this. And then Zamasu is a nice one that you can drop even like if you're playing, especially if you're playing the Unison package, using that charismatic after you've popped one of their cards. It's nice to just set this off, put a card on the board which blue can barely deal with, and just give you added grinding of their hand every time it swings. And if you can establish multiple of them, you can just keep grinding the hand, because blue has an issue with dealing with hand destruction, which green is all about. Then yellow, you have some really nice ones in Slug to help mitigate their draw outside their lead. Cooler to help just basically put an end to any swing and just push through damage to make it so they have to deal with it rather than stop it. And Releasing Evil is a nice way to like just shut off effects. So if they play that 6-drop Goku and swing with it, you can use this to turn off, make it from a triple striker to a single striker, and make it so it can't really restand it into your turn or untap an energy. It's really nice. Like Releasing Evil is one of the greatest yellow cards at the moment for as long as you've got a Unison. It's just a really nice card for the meta. And then black and technically multiple different cards have a nice one in. Jiren's a nice one if you are scared of the turn in the side card and don't really want to put the cunning cards or deal with that more. If you feel like you haven't got much to deal with, your opponent getting a 7 energy and then dropping that, Jiren's a nice card to counter that. You also got Meki as well if you want to deal with what any deck's got access to, or Black's got really the only real way to kind of hold off the SS4 Gogeta. And you got Petrifications, which is a good card for Black to help shut off things, and is one of the only cards maybe, or a few cards left. We've got the Stop Pending Autos as well, and a good negate. That is everything for today. So this is the episode about blue. So remembering, because with the main top decks being red, blue's going to be a good color to come out and combat it. So along with the top decks, you're going to have to deal with some blue decks as well. So hopefully this helps you in figuring out how to deal it and like understanding blue and how to help counter it and give you a better chance at finals. So once again, thank you for watching. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.